Shadow work might just be the most transformative thing you ever do for yourself, not just for your manifestations, but for your entire life. Welcome back to the channel. I am very appropriately dressed in all black today, and it is a very cloudy, rainy day outside, which could not be more perfect because we are going to be talking about shadow work today. Now, contrary to the name, shadow work has nothing to do with anything evil or anything malicious. No, it is actually one of the most powerful, most transformative tools for healing, for self-growth, and yes, of course, even manifestation. Because if ever we are not getting where we want in our life, if ever we are not manifesting the thing that we want to manifest, even though we're trying our best, it is because of resistance. But here, we do not ignore resistance. We do not ignore the shadow. We listen and we don't judge. We learn from it, and we take what we've learned to help us get all parts of ourselves on board with whatever change it is that we want to be making or whatever it is that we want to be manifesting, so that we can finally attract it in a way that actually feels aligned. You know what happens when you keep ignoring the shadow? You keep repeating the same old negative patterns of things never working out for you. Your life will keep going in the same direction, on the same trajectory, where things continue to be hard for you, and you never actually end up living a life that feels aligned. But when you do the shadow work, you heal, you align, and you actually become magnetic to what you want. So today we are going to talk about, I'm going to tell you what shadow work is and how your shadow blocks your manifestations. I'm going to tell you how to identify your shadow, and I'm going to get you started with how to start doing shadow work today. And chapter timestamps are in the description box and the comment box below, okay? If you're new, I'm Jessie Riemann, and I'm here to tell you that you actually already have magnetic energy inside you right now. I'm going to show you how to unlock it so that you can stop working so hard and actually finally become magnetic for everything that you want. So if you want to learn more, subscribe and click the thumbs up. Before we get started, I have an announcement that I'm super excited to share. I have 2 new offers for you guys. The first of which is a customized manifestation toolkit. I am making each and every one of these specifically to you and your exact desires. There is nothing cookie cutter about this. No 2 of these will be exactly the same. In this, you will receive a beautifully mixed audio affirmations recording in my voice, a very powerful guided visualization that literally makes your subconscious mind believe that what you are visualizing is actually happening to you right now, which makes you all the more magnetic to it. And very appropriately included for this video are personally tailored shadow work prompts to help you heal, unblock, bring the wall down in between you and whatever it is that you're manifesting so that it can finally be attracted to you. And this is very, very affordable. And the second thing is what I am calling your unique life purpose human design chart reading. So it's going to include a one-on-one session with me where we go over your unique human design chart. I will need your exact birth time for this. I'm going to show you what your unique form of intuition is and how it tells you to always know that you're making the right decisions, how to always know that you are on track, especially when it comes to your manifestations, and if you're not on track, how to course correct, the specific way that you were born to manifest, and a bonus mini astrology reading for any area of your life that you would like to know more about, such as career, love, or even your purpose in this life, what you are here to do and what you're here to experience. So you can check both of those out in the description box below. All right, what is shadow work? And why am I telling you that it is so incredibly life-changing? So we are going to start out with just a little mini history lesson. This is not school. I promise this will not be boring. Those of you who are already obsessed with psychology, like I am, will know exactly who I'm talking about. But for those of you who are not familiar with a man named Carl Jung, who was a psychiatrist and a psychotherapist around the 1940s, 1950s era. He worked with Sigmund Freud. I'm sure a lot of you know about Freud. Between the two, usually people who are into psychology will usually side more with being Freudian or Jungian. I myself am much more Jungian. Anyhow, he was basically the one that discovered originally that we have different aspects to our psyche. Obviously, like the conscious self, which is who we feel safe to show to other people, who we tell ourselves that we are, and what our conscious beliefs are. And then there were the aspects of ourselves that we have been made to believe are bad or wrong or somehow shameful about us. So we then suppress them. And this is what he called the shadow self. So shadow work is any process of uncovering those suppressed parts of ourselves and any hidden beliefs that are actually shaping our reality behind the scenes and essentially making the unconscious conscious. Now, why would we want to do this? If your current identity is who you feel safe to be and who you feel safe to express to the world, essentially, and your shadow self is the parts of you that you have suppressed and beliefs that you've tried to ignore or deny, well, ignoring them doesn't actually make them go away. And what this means is that you're actually suppressing the version of you that's actually really authentic and who truly knows what things and what kind of life would actually be aligned for you. The thing is, your shadow self knows exactly who you want to be. It knows how you want to think. It knows what you actually want to be doing with your life and how you want to be doing it. But you're spending so much of your time and energy trying to push it down, trying to suppress it, that it's actually making you exhausted and anxious and depressed and misaligned. It's actually causing you to be so out of touch with what would actually make you happy. And so as a result of that, it makes it so much more difficult to actually attract and manifest the things that you want. So why is shadow work so powerful? Well, for one, because it frees you from repeating old negative patterns, because you are finally able to see what those patterns are and why they're not actually serving you. You learn what you actually really want and how you actually really want it, how you actually really want your life to be, which as a result makes you far more authentic and therefore so much more magnetic. And when you're manifesting and when it gets hard, shadow work can show you that there's likely part of you that presently doesn't fully want to manifest whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, purely because it thinks that something bad might happen, that you might have to become something that you don't want to be, that it isn't safe to manifest. So you need to learn what your shadow is trying to tell you, especially for manifestation, so that you can then take what you've learned and start making more aligned choices and decisions so that you can actually attract and manifest what you want, but in a way that's going to feel more aligned to all parts of you, and so that you can heal these parts of you so that it finally feels safe to manifest. And this also goes for any changes that you've been wanting to make in your life. You finally heal those aspects of you through shadow work, and you're going to start to watch transformation, glow ups happen in your life like never before. Okay, number 2, how to identify the shadow. So your shadow is something about yourself or your desires or having your desires or wanting your desires that you have somehow shamed and suppressed. So your shadow could show up as a part of your personality that you have shamed and therefore suppressed because you think no one likes it. So you start pretending to be someone that you're not. And what's actually happening is you're completely exhausting yourself. And because you're being so inauthentic, it's actually bringing you out of alignment with who you really are. And as a result of that, you're now out of alignment with whatever it is that you want to attract, because that's the very nature of the law of attraction. The universe, your subconscious, your intuition wants to give you all of the things that you want. But you being authentic and you actually being aligned with them and in a way that feels good, feels aligned, I keep using that word for a reason, to you, is what makes you magnetic. Let me give you a personal example of this. I've been a YouTuber for about 7 years now, but when I first started, I was making eating disorder recovery content. And back then, I used to present as this really happy, bubbly, hey guys, it's Jessie Riemann, and on this channel, we talk about blah, 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 with eyebrows raised, giving me a headache, forcing my eyes to be really bright and wide, and a cheerful smile in a way that did not actually feel authentic to me. And I did this because my mom raised me and my sister that we were always supposed to be as happy and friendly and cheerful as humanly possible. Because of this, she would shame me anytime that I was too serious. So I obviously started suppressing this aspect of me. And then I was in a session with a client, I think it was a couple years ago. And when we were finished with the session, it came up in conversation, the concept that your favorite season tends to have a lot to say about your personality. So she went ahead and guessed what she thought my favorite season was. And she said, oh, it has to be spring because you're always so colorful and bubbly and cheerful. And I looked at her and I said, actually, my favorite season is winter. And I went away from that session and actually did some shadow work about this because I realized that her saying that had hit me like a ton of bricks. And the reason was because in that moment, I realized, oh my God, that is how inauthentic I am being, not just on my channel, but in public. And I didn't like the way that felt. So I said to myself, all right, I'm going to start listening to this aspect of me that I've been suppressing and actually start to allow myself to express it. Now, obviously, I was freaking terrified of doing that because I had already believed that there was something wrong with this aspect of me. But when you're not being authentic, you actually end up closing off opportunities that were meant to be attracted to you that lead you to actually attracting all of the things that you want in this life, because all of those things are actually meant for you, but you're not in alignment with them when you're not being authentic. So because I knew this, I said, all right, I'm going to start challenging this belief, and I'm going to start challenging myself to show up on my YouTube channel more authentically me. And while not everyone is going to like the authentic me, what I started seeing was that you guys started showing up. You guys started proving to me that people will actually like you for being authentically you because you end up feeling more real. You end up feeling more genuine. And then I was able to walk away from filming and editing my videos feeling like, yeah, that's me. That's me. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing more gratifying, there is nothing more fulfilling than people liking you when you are being authentically exactly who you are. There are over 8 billion people in the world, so I promise you right now that your people are out there. The people that love exactly who you are when you're actually being authentic. Number 2, your shadow self can also show up as a part of you that you have been shamed for, or that you have shamed yourself, that part of you actually doesn't want to change. For example, a shadow aspect of you could be laziness. My God, laziness is completely shamed in our society. And you might be telling yourself it's bad, it's wrong, laziness shouldn't be something that exists within me. But the thing is, there's actually part of you that doesn't want that to go away. And let me tell you why. Laziness doesn't actually happen for no reason. Laziness and the qualities that we associate with laziness, resting a lot, sleeping a lot, not doing a lot of productive things. Why do we get into that state in the first place? Because we've been overdoing it to some extent, right? Because we've felt like we have a lot of pressure or a lot of expectations on us. So what happens is the pendulum of one extreme to the other and swings drastically to the other side, where this shadow aspect of us takes over and says, no more, I'm not doing this. So what your shadow self is actually trying to tell you is there's actually nothing wrong with the laziness. It's that I don't want to actually have to continue going about my life in the same way. For example, if you're wanting to, let's say, manifest weight loss or your ideal body or your ideal career, but the way that you go about it is through all of these, like we talked about last time, all these extreme ways, these hustle culture, lots of deprivation, lots of hard work kind of ways. Your shadow self is actually trying to tell you, hey, if you would just change the way that you're going about this and start doing it in a way that actually feels good, in a way that actually feels authentic to me, then there will be no need for this so-called laziness. Number 3 way that your shadow self can show up, and brace yourselves because this one's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but we are here for self-growth and you need to hear this, getting triggered by people. Oftentimes, the reason that you're getting triggered is because part of you actually wants to be doing what those people are doing or have the things that they have, but you've shamed yourself for wanting those things or what kind of person you think that you would have to be in order to do those things or have those things. I just heard someone saying recently how annoyed they were with their aunt, that their aunt has all this money and is always having Amazon packages delivered to her door. And she was like, how could she spend her money that way when this woman is very, very wealthy? Well, deep down, that trigger is coming from a place of wishing that this person had that kind of money to be able to have the freedom to do whatever they want with it. But I also happen to know that this person in the story has shamed themselves for making money, for wanting more money. So pay attention to when you get triggered by people. Pay attention to when you feel annoyed by certain things that people have, that people are doing with their lives specifically, because it is in those triggers that part of your shadow exists. And number 4 way that your shadow self can show itself is, of course, that you have resistance to getting whatever it is that you want. And we've talked about this many times before, but it is such an important one because so often the resistance, the reason that you're not actually getting what you want in life, the reason that your manifestation isn't working is because some part of you has resistance to actually manifesting it, to actually getting it, to actually being the person that you think you'd have to become in order to have it. So now let's talk about how to start doing shadow work today. So I'm going to give you an exercise, a shadow work exercise, and then we're going to do some shadow work prompts together. So in this exercise, it's one of my favorites. If you're a past client of mine, we may have done this together. I just did it with my dad recently about his health situation. It's incredibly powerful. So whatever challenges you've been experiencing that you want answers to, whatever hasn't been manifesting, that you want to understand why it isn't manifesting and what it would take in order for it to be easy to become attracted to you, you're going to do this exercise. So what I want you to do is get out 2 chairs and you're going to have those chairs facing each other. I want you to sit in one chair and out loud, I want you to start talking about what it is that you want to have happen and all the reasons that you are frustrated that it hasn't been working out the way that you want it to. And once you feel like everything that you want to say has been expressed, you're going to stop and you're going to switch chairs. Now I want you to take on the personality of the part of you that doesn't actually want things to change. The part of you that doesn't, again, just part of you that does not want to manifest that thing. You just gave the other part of you a voice. Now it's time to give this one a voice. So don't let the other voice start coming in and saying, no, I actually do really want it. There isn't a reason that I'm afraid of this. This is stupid. Why can't it just work out? Why can't you just want to get on board with me? Okay. We just gave that part of you a voice. Now it's time to listen to this one. This voice is likely quieter. And give yourself patience with this, because if you have shamed this part of you, and you have, because it's your shadow self, then it might need a little bit of patience in expressing itself, because it's used to the other part of you jumping in and going, no, that's not true. This is what we want. So why don't you just shut up and do it? All right. So tune into the personality. Again, the aspect of you. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths. And ask yourself, why do I not want this to change? Why do I not want this to manifest? Why is it scary? Who do I think I would have to become to get it or to make this change? Who am I afraid of upsetting as a result of doing this or having this? And once you feel like that's all been expressed, get up again, switch chairs. Try to your best now, when you've gone back to the first part of you, to come from as compassionate a place as possible. Really try to listen and focus on what you just heard. And then I want you to take that in, and I want you to ask part number 2, what would you need to have happen? What would you need to believe? Or what would you need to have change in order to feel like it's okay for that to manifest, in order to feel like it is safe for that to change? Then I want you to switch chairs again, take some deep breaths, tune back into this voice, and listen to what it has to tell you. Does it want you to do things differently? Does it want you to slow down more? Does it want you to approach it in a way that feels a lot less rushed and a lot less pressured? Is it telling you that it wants you to build confidence? Is it telling you that it wants you to celebrate the small successes instead of just always saying what you're doing isn't good enough? That's a big one. Does it want you to keep giving it more examples of proof that things like what you want can be done in ways that are easier, that are less stressful, that feel actually more aligned? And when this part of you has expressed everything that it needs to express, I want you to switch back to the first chair one more time. Again, stay in as compassionate a space as you possibly can. And really think about what you just heard. What do you now realize that you didn't realize before? What can you tell this other part of you that you are going to do differently? Or that you are going to research a way to do it differently? You're going to look for examples of how else it can be done. You're going to be nicer to this other part to yourself. That's basically what it means, right? You're going to be more patient. You're going to be more understanding. You're going to do things to fill your life now with things that actually make you feel happy, instead of saying, oh, nope, self, we can't be happy until we manifest this. And then I want you to get out a journal or piece of paper. You can even do this on the Notes app on your phone. And I want you to write down, how can I incorporate what I just learned from my shadow self and start doing things or researching how to do things in a way that actually feels aligned to both parts of me? Another personal example, let's go back to my YouTube channel. So having been a perfectionist all my life, I usually approached my YouTube videos with that same perfectionist mindset. I would focus on cutting out all the pauses. I would focus on, you guys have seen, adding a lot of zoom ins and zoom outs and a bunch of text to the screen, thinking that I was trying to make my videos as high quality as humanly possible. Because in the example of the chair exercise, the first chair part of me was basically saying that I believed that I have to do all these things because people have short attention spans, and I want to make sure that my videos are as high quality as humanly possible. But the second chair part of me, the shadow self, told me, I want to do YouTube, But I can't maintain this and be consistent while also maintaining good physical health and mental health, because all this extra work that you're doing, adding the zoom ins and zoom outs, adding the text, worrying about all these little edits, taking out all the pauses, is actually taking me another 6 or more hours of editing time. And that's exhausting me. And it's getting me to a point where I'm not enjoying this anymore. So going back to the first chair part of me, I basically ended up having to be like, okay, I'm going to listen, because I actually want to continue doing YouTube. I enjoy doing it, but going about it the way that I am is not working for all parts of me. So I'm going to challenge this limiting belief by looking at and realizing things like, I actually really love long form content. I am actually not somebody with a short attention span. And most of my favorite YouTubers create long form content where all they do is just sit and talk to the camera without all that extra fancy editing. So clearly that means that there are in fact other people out there who enjoy this exact same kind of video, this exact same kind of content. And it's actually going to be easier and more enjoyable because I'm not spending so many extra hours editing, which frees me up for creativity and actually getting to be more of my authentic self on my channel, which is so incredibly important to me. And it was incredibly scary. I mean, it took me years to do this because I had shamed myself so much, this aspect of me thinking that I needed to be perfect or I wasn't going to be good enough, or I wasn't going to be worthy of whatever it was that I was doing. But I knew that I needed to challenge this and actually start changing those behaviors in order to become more aligned, in order to be more authentic and therefore become more aligned. And funnily enough, as a result of this, I've actually ended up manifesting more success in my business because I'm being more authentic and because I'm more aligned. All right, now let's talk about shadow work prompts. Again, get out your journals and be ready to write these down so that you can do these shadow work prompts as soon as you have a chance. Number 1, what parts of me have been shamed or unaccepted by other people? What parts of me do I keep hidden from people? And then under that, I want you to write, are there other people in the world who have these same traits or qualities? You can also add, are there people in the world whom I like and respect, who have some of these same traits and qualities? Then under that, I want you to write, do I have proof, or at least some proof, that there are people who actually like those traits and qualities in a person? And then under that, I want you to write, what do I actually like about those traits and qualities? Shadow work prompt number 2. What am I afraid would happen if I got exactly what I want? Or who am I afraid I will become if I got what I want? Or who am I afraid I would have to become if I got what I want? Under that, I want you to write, where did I develop this belief? And then under that, I want you to write, in what ways do I have proof that this does not have to be true? And shadow work prompt number 3. This is one of my all-time favorites. It was immensely transformative for me back in the beginning of 2020. And it is, if I knew that it was impossible to fail, what would I be doing with my life? What would I want to do? Then under that, I want you to write, what limiting beliefs do I have about why I think I will fail if I go for it? I feel like this chair is creaking so much. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but anyhow, under that, I want you to write, what proof do I have that this does not have to be true? And then finally, under that, I want you to write, are there ways that I could go about this in ways that feel slower, less pressured, easier, more enjoyable, or more aligned for me? The very act of just doing shadow work for like maybe once or twice a week for maybe 15 to 20 minutes is enough to start creating this shift, to start bringing down the wall that's been between you and what you want, that's been blocking what you want from being attracted to you. So just get started and be open to whatever comes up in this process of doing your shadow work and let it keep evolving. Okay, because it's going to keep evolving. You're going to keep learning more information. So be open to learning more about yourself. And most importantly, making adjustments in your life so that the way that you're going about your life, the way that you are attracting the things that you want to manifest, doesn't just feel good to one part of you, but feels good to both parts of you. And now you see exactly why that's important. And if you want specific shadow work prompts for whatever it is you've been working on or been struggling to manifest, grab a custom manifestation toolkit at my link below. Okay, my body is telling me to go relax and shut off all stimulation. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Highly sensitive person problems. I intend that this video helped you. Don't forget to subscribe and leave this video a thumbs up because that is how we let YouTube know to get these videos out to more people so that I can help more people exactly like you. You are worthy. You are remarkable. I love you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.